All right. In this video, I want to talk about ranks. Now, first I'm going to give you an example. And it may sound semi-comical, but it's just to be used as a starting point here. Now, there are people who play online games that are competitive, right? And there's different kinds of these games, whether they're some kind of fighting game with like physical combat or shooting games or team play games or what have you. And they usually have ranks that go from like nothing to bronze, silver, gold, platinum, and then sometimes they might have something like diamond, right? And maybe as things advance with the game, they might add even more ranks. If there's like a lot of people that get in and it's super competitive, there may be even something higher, right? And if there was somebody who was playing one of these games, I'm just going to use Call of Duty, for example, because it's military based. And let's say they got to this high rank, right? And they are top rank. And let's say the top rank in Call of Duty is something they made up. They're like Master Sergeant, right? And then you meet this person, right? And let's say their name is Jim Jones. I know that might be a guy who did that cult. But we're going to go with Jim Jones anyway. So you meet Mr. Jones and you either like, oh, nice to meet you, Mr. Jones, or you're like, oh, nice to meet you, Jim. And then Jim says, it's Master Sergeant Jim Jones. You call me Master Sergeant. And you're like, what? But you're not in the military, right? What are you talking about? And he's like, well, I worked very hard and put a lot of time, sweat, and tears into earning the rank of Master Sergeant on my online game. Now I want you to call me Master Sergeant. You may be like, I'm not doing that. Unless you feel like playing along. Maybe you play along just because you think it's funny or something. But generally, I imagine you'd be like, no, I don't have any respect for that. I don't care. I'm calling you by your name, or I'm just not even going to talk to you because there's something off with you, something wrong with you, right? You got an ego problem, right? You know, in your little world where you earn that rank, other people may respect you, but I'm not part of that world, right? And you may understand that. But we have the same rank in file system in the world, right? Because you may come across somebody who went to college and they have a doctorate, so now they can call themselves a doctor. And you may meet this, let's say use Jim Jones again, and they're like, you're like, oh, hello, Mr. Jones, or nice to meet you, Jim. And it's like, it's Dr. Jim Jones. And it's just like, no, I'm just going to call you Mr. Jones or Jim. If that bothers you, I suppose, but I'm just not going to address you or talk to you because you got an ego problem. And they're like, well, I worked hard to get that doctorate. I don't care. I don't care that you played that game and put a lot of money into it and a lot of time and energy and sweat and tears. Doesn't mean anything to me, right? So I'm not going to call you doctor. I don't care, right? But you see, there's certain people that they want to be above you, right? And they want you to submit to their title, to their degree, right? They want you to play along with their game because it feeds their ego. They put money, time, and energy into this, and they want something back for it, right? They want other people to acknowledge that they've got this paper that says that they're smart because they got a doctorate, right? And if you don't play along with it, well, then they can see that they wasted all that time, money, and energy, right? And that's the thing. They want to make it seem as though you have like some kind of arrogance problem because you're not bowing down to their degree, right? And it's like, why can't we just talk to each other as equals? well, I got this doctorate so I don't have to be your equal, so that I can just talk to you and you listen to what I have to say and you don't question it. And then you don't try to tell me what's what. And it's like, but that's not how reality is. Just because you went and got yourself a piece of paper doesn't mean I stop thinking for myself and I just blindly accept what you have to say because I don't have a doctorate. Right? That's not how things work. Especially since a lot of these people who've gone to college, some of the things that they have gotten into, I've studied myself. You don't have to spend all that money and time and energy at a school where they force you into a schedule and you have to do things on their timing and then have to go through all these tests. You can learn the same thing at your own pace, generally for free. As long as you have access to the internet, you got some time on your hands, you can study pretty much anything that's taught in college. You can even listen to some of the courses from professors. You can get even the textbooks, right? You can get the PDF versions. You don't have to play their game where they force you to buy the books and then you maybe use one chapter out of it, and that's that. You wasted all that money because they wanted you to buy it, right? You don't have to play that stupid game, which shows that you're not very smart in the first place, right? You're willing to play that stupid game and just keep throwing your money at them because you're hoping it pays off in the end when you stress yourself out and you aged 20 years faster by doing it, right? Not saying college is useless and stupid and that there's no benefit to it, but there's been a lot of people who I've talked to that just got this nose in the air attitude as if they've earned intelligence, right? And since you haven't done what they did to get this little piece of paper, you haven't earned intelligence. You haven't earned respect so that no one should listen to you because you don't have this piece of paper, right? So people don't care about objective reality, common sense, reason, logic, right? And like I said, the fact that you could go and learn the same things that they learned for free and with less stress so it actually sticks better. Because some of these people I've talked to, and they're not very smart. Some of them are pretty slow. A lot of the stuff they supposedly learned didn't even stick. Some of them have learned things that they can't even apply into the real world. They can't get a job with whatever they got. Right? And again, I'll say that some have they've learned impressive things and they can turn that into a career and they can use it to help others. They can use it to help themselves. Right? I'm not saying all that stuff is useless. But again, you could learn that stuff at home if you have internet access. You don't have that piece of paper that gives you that official degree where people will hire you for it in some cases, but you can still go learn it on your own. Just like you can learn a trade at home, working on your car, you can learn automotives. You can get a welding set and learn how to weld as well at home. It's the same thing with carpentry. I don't recommend you do anything with the electrical, but you could also learn some plumbing. I've learned a lot of these things. I didn't go to any school. And I learned some of these skills watching YouTube videos and reading online manuals and even textbooks, PDF versions of textbooks. Right? And yeah, didn't pay much to learn it all. Right? Yet because you don't have a degree that says you officially know these things, well then you got to shut up about it. Even though you may have spent more time learning about the things and thinking about these things and discussing these things with other people than the people who actually went to college to learn them because you actually cared about it. Because some of these people who went to college, some of them just partied. They partied through college. Some of them had their parents pay for their grades, right? Some of them cheat and use AI, right? You're seeing more of that now. So it's not impressive at all, right? But for some reason, they want you to bow down to it. And they don't see how it's just as silly as if I wanted someone to bow down to some silly gaming rank, right? Bow down to my rank in this volleyball video game where I'm the top volleyball video game master. So address me as Volley Master Morin. And if you don't, well then just shut your mouth, right? Because if you're not going to bow down to my rank, then I wasted my time getting it, right? That's how a lot of people are. Lack any kind of humility and act as though truth is something that only certain people get to decide what it is and isn't, and other people just have to submit to it. It's like the schooling actually indoctrinated them and told them what to think and not actually how to think. Right? And there's very few people who can actually go through the schooling and not be completely brainwashed where they can't even think anymore. Not in a critical manner. Right? There's some that can. Right? And there's people who are medical doctors, for example. These ones who do surgeries and all this stuff. They've done a great job. Right? They've learned some great skills that are very helpful. Right? But then there are other medical fields where they're teaching them pharmaceuticals as if that's the only way to treat things. Where they can't treat things based on health. Some kind of natural health remedy of getting good sleep and sunlight and exercise and grounding and maybe sun gazing and getting plenty of meats and fats and fruits and vegetables and maybe cutting down on the processed treats, right? You know, not that you can't eat these things, but you shouldn't be eating them every day kind of thing. Or if you do eat them every day, you don't eat a large portion of them, right? You just eat some to get a morale boost, because I know life can be shitty sometimes and they make you feel good for a little bit, right? But just like any other drug, it's very harmful to you. And instead of actually creating cures, they create, I'm not even sure what to call it, symptom treaters, right? Like, oh, you got a headache? Oh, well, here's a pill for your headache. Instead of figuring out, well, why do you got a headache? Is it because you got sinus issues and we can deal with that in some way? Or is it because you got a brain tumor, right? Instead, we're just going to give you a pill that numbs the pain. So it doesn't actually treat what's going on. Because let's say you have a sinus issue. All right, well, the pill doesn't help you with that. It just numbs the pain for a bit, but you still have sinus issues. If it's a brain tumor, oh, you numb the pain for a little bit, and it definitely doesn't help you, right? Sees that some of these fields, they learn some things that are helpful to mankind, right? And then there's some that learn things that are partially helpful, but generally help a hospital make money, not so much actually help people, right? Like, I like what one of these guys said is that he doesn't trust doctors when it comes to anything other than a broken bone or some kind of surgery. Like, he'll go to the hospital if he has like if he got like stabbed or shot or broke a bone or needed surgery, he would trust the doctors with that. But when it comes to helping them with something like blood pressure and maybe an autoimmune thing or something like that, he doesn't trust them because they just put you on all these different medications that usually have different side effects, and then they give you new medications for that side effect, and they don't actually give you something to cure you. They give you something to make you a perpetual patient that needs these different drugs instead of actually taking care of the problem, that you are free and you don't need to keep spending money on these drugs that are just should be something temporary, maybe even something that shouldn't be used at all, because it will hinder your health in the long run and your progress from actually recovering from whatever it is that's actually ailing you, right? But there's a lot of people that look at the medical field as a bunch of priests that they can't disagree with and that they have to just blindly submit to, right? Definitely take their opinion into consideration, but there's no reason why you should look at it as infallible. Doctors used to say that cigarettes were healthy. They used to treat all kinds of problems with bloodletting or with leeches draining blood because it was bad blood. They used to treat a lot of things using mercury, and they even still put mercury in the shots they give babies and everybody else through these vaxes and whatnot, right? And because of ranks, people just submit to it, which ties into my other video I was just making about everybody being cuckolds, where they don't think for themselves. They allow everybody into their mind to bang their wife and plant seeds in their mind, and they raise the children of everybody else, but except for themselves, and definitely not of God, right? Where Adam and Eve were told to tend the garden, but they didn't. Right? Which means when Eve was talking to the serpent, Adam should have been around there. Or he should have had Eve with him. Like, why were they separated? That's like having your conscious mind and your subconscious mind separated. And you're allowing your subconscious mind to be fed by something else. And that's what a lot of people do, whether they're just coasting through life or they're on some kind of legal or illegal drug, to just basically put the conscious mind to sleep and let the subconscious mind go through life while they just kind of coast because they don't want to deal with reality. But anyway, that's that. Thank you for your time and attention. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.